Right behind you.
We're going to have another 10 minutes here, and then we'll be ready for the steer show. So right about quarter after, we'll be geared up for the steer show. If we can have class 1 of the steer show start lining up. Colton Kais, tag 163.
Anjali Levitt, tag 250. Fallon Silcox, tag 129. Olivia Rockhill, tag 122. Please start lining up.
Keep on going. Keep on going. Go ahead. Make right. Whoop. Whoop. You're a good girl, aren't you?
Class 2, if you want to start lining up. JW Silcox, 146. Strand Moore, 179. Luke Brown, 148. Kelby Pierce, 166.
Test. I think a nice group of 4 lightweight steers to open up the market beef show. And as we look down the line, I think all weighing in the mid to upper 11s, excuse me. So I don't know if I label any calf in here particularly market ready. Still think that they've got a little bit gas left in the tank. But no doubt in my mind, we've got the 2 genuinely heavier muscled cattle sorted up in between the 2. I like the structure of the young lady's red and white steer. Really be better in the angle of his shoulder, better in the angle of his knee, more comfortable about his spine, and just better in the utilization of his hind leg. He's a heavy muscled calf to boot that presents with a nice look from the side. Young lady's kind of blue roan calf over there, handles really wide and expressive up high. I think going away, really big about his upper hip and pin set, and really bold in the turn of his body. And as the cattle are asked to lead, though, young lady will read more verticals in the angle of his shoulder and his knee. He's just not as genuinely flexible and correct in the way that he handles his hind leg. And then the differences between 3rd and 4th, I think, again, comes down to muscularity. Young man's all black steer here. Handles with a bigger shape up high. Reads more expressive in terms of his muscle pattern. Ultimately, though, I think probably the farthest away from his endpoint today, but really like his muscle shape and muscularity. That's where he edges out the other all black calf that's going to go 4th. I think this steer's smoother in terms of his shoulder, a little bit fresher about his neck, but just needs to go away with more punch, more power, and just muscle shape. Nice class of lightweight steers. Go ahead, congratulate those kids, if you would, with a big round of applause.
Coming back for the final drive from Class 1 is Fallon Silcox. Anjali Levitt is second place. Keep your steer on standby. Coming to start class possibly.
Hey, how'd you get this picture you sent right here? What? Where are you?
You're gonna go.
Yeah, you got over here. Which girl fucking got here? Which one is it this one? Wait a minute. Go with me. Maybe like, you're all right.
Go ahead, big round of applause, please, for our second class of market steers. a class that, as we talk about a placing, comes together rather logically in my mind, like the black and white calf a lot, young man. I think in terms of his width, his power, and his shape, checks all of those boxes. A really sharp-looking calf that I think balances really well. My compliments on getting this one fit and dressed and presented. He looks to the nines today. And like I said, he's a little bit more attractive than the steer we have in second. I think that's why he wins. Because I really like a lot of things about your calf, young man. His stoutness of foot and feature, his practicality. I think really mellow handling out over his ribs, bold in terms of his body. When we start to get comparative, I don't think comes as sharp as a look at our class winner. Maybe just not as clean in terms of his lower joint work as well. But still, I think a better structured calf than the one that we're going to have in third. Because when we move into handle, I like a lot of things about this calf. Big in terms of his shape up high. He carries that squareness back to his loin and his upper inset, I think that muscle's starting to come at a cost, young lady. I think of the top three, the straightest in his knee and his shoulder, the shortest step in it, and just needs to be more comfortable in terms of his rear ankle. Rounded out young man with a very useful kind of a market steer, still big scale, high performing kind of a calf who's long bodied and extended. Just need to see more beef there, young man, off both ends of this one. But really good calf, really good class and a nice way to progress our show, Go ahead, one more big round of applause for these kids.
Class 3, if you haven't already started lining up. Prue Brown, 174. Lola Roth, 131. Waylon Greenhall, 165. Anjali Levitt, 248. Kaysen Kais, 169. Coming back from Class 2 will be Luke Brown. J.W. Silcox is second place. Keep your calf on standby.
Keep it up to it's green out. Okay, can you sit down, boys, please? Oh, you can sit right here and watch your brother show. Okay, we'll eat lunch as soon as we're done. Hi. No, that's why are we watching these things
Class 3, if you want to start lining up. Kobe Jones, 185. JW Silcox, 149. Fallon Silcox, 180. Kobe Jones, 168. Rylan Wolstenhume, 135.
They're excited.
Another nice class of steers. Go ahead, put your hands together for all these kids' effort out here. Got some squirrely calves out here today. Animals just not wanting to be good show partners, and kids are doing a good job managing it and sticking with it. But when it comes down to, I think, ranking and putting this class in a lineup, all cattle, top to bottom, have an adequate amount of muscle in my mind. So it comes down to quality and balance and build. That's where I land on the all black steer the young man has to win. Really like how balanced this calf is from the side. His front, his middle, his rear thirds, they all match together and proportion out very well. He's a big-footed kind of a steer that still gets out and tracks very well. And like I've stated, he's got plenty of muscle for me. Nice way to start off this particular class. Speaking of muscle, though, that's where I tied to the young lady's white-faced steer here, because bar none, young lady, the widest constructed, the boldest bodied, and the biggest in his shape up high. I think to carry or to pull a big train, you've got to have a big engine, unfortunately. He's too big and coarse about his shoulder. He's starting to throw more crest on the top of his neck, and his hawk is just a little bit too permanently set for me. A red calf, though, nothing to take away from, because I like this steer from the side, young lady, in terms of his sharpness up front, his levelness of spine, and levelness and squareness in terms of his hip. I guess if we do want to get comparative in terms of muscularity, probably falls third comparatively to the rest. He's flatter in terms of his upper midrib and just doesn't leave me with the same kind of punch. Young man's calf that's going to round out for us today that's already exited the ring. Another one that's got a lot of muscularity, a lot of end product potential. We need to level out his hip and fix and build things to move him up in the lineup. But another great group of 4 steers. Go ahead, give those exhibitors a big round of applause.
Class 3 winner was Crew Brown. You'll be coming back. Anjali Levitt was second place. Keep your calf on standby.
wife got into it.
Sorry. You sit in my seat.
Class 5 is Justin Hansen, 444. Kelby Pierce, 164. Kaylee Kies, 182. Waylon Greenhall, 177. Colton Kies, 124. Strandmore, 137. Stay in the steer barn class 5 for just a little bit. Don't line up quite yet.
Another really nice class here in group number 4, and a trio of cattle here on the top end that I think come with the right kind of shape, come with the right kind of muscularity. So ultimately, I think we land on the young lady steer just in terms of his practicality. I think probably the best, the boldest, and the softest in the turn there of his midrib. He's a more sensibly sized calf than some others that we have down the line. All of that, I think, blends to a little bit more balance as well. Really high quality individuals go ahead and start off this particular class. A similar pair of cattle here in 2 and 3. Both of them, I just like to tweak the angles of their shoulders and their knee. Probably give both of their hind legs just a shot more flexibility, excuse me. So then for me, I'll opt with the heavier muscle calf here to go second. I think he grabs just a notch wider there behind his shoulder as the cattle go away a little bit better in the turn of his upper body, wider about his upper hip and inset as well. Not taking anything away, though, from your calf, young man, because I like how big-footed and stout-featured this guy is. I think, again, though, I think, again, though, between the two calves whose build I'd like to tweak a little bit, he just doesn't come with the same kind of mass and bulk as the steer exiting the ring, but a nice calf nonetheless. Another really good practical kind of a steer to end up 4th here, like his moderation, like the shape he has to his midrib. I think a wide made kind of a steer. That's just getting a little bit too plain, and how he handles up high, I don't think maybe comes as neat, and how he's constructed and put together shoulder forward as well. Young man's going to round us out with a black and white calf, real big scaled, long-bodied kind of a steer. He's fresh about his neck and smooth in terms of his shoulder. But like we said on some other steers today, just need to see more beef and more product in that guy as he comes and he goes. But great class and a great way to progress the show. Go ahead and put your hands together for those kids.
Class 5 starts lining up. Class 4 winner was Fallon Silcox. You'll be bringing your steer back. Rylan Wolstenhume was 2nd place. Keep your calf on standby.
What he needs to do that.
Class winners start lining up. From class 1, Fallon Silcox, 129. From class 2, Luke Brown, 148. Class 3, Drew Brown, 174. Fallon Silcox from class 4, 180. Second place steers from your classes also start lining up and stay on standby. Second place steers are Anjali Levitt from class 1, tag 250. From class 2, second place steer JW Silcox, 146. From class 3, Anjali Levitt, tag 248. From class 4, Rylan Wilson Hume, tag 135. Those steers are on standby.
Doing great.
Head up.
Good job, Wayne. Right there.
Yeah, go ahead, big round of applause for these kids. I think a nice group of heavyweight steers, and as an industry, as we continue to feed cattle to these heavier weights, I think we're still plenty in bounds. There's nothing, as I asked the kids, there's nothing in my mind that's out of a target range, I guess you'd say. But a lot of good, a lot of useful cattle all the way down here. We've got an interesting pair up here on the top end. We really like the quality of these steers. Ultimately, though, like we've made a couple other decisions before, it comes down to structural integrity. I think the young man's calf is just a little bit better and smoother than the angle of his shoulder, holds his spine and his loin just a little bit more comfortably compared to the yellow steer. I like the angles of his knee and his lower joint work just a notch better as well. The yellow calf, though, does have some advantages because I really like the turn and the boldness that guy takes to his upper midrib. Real big-footed, wide-tracking kind of a steer who I think probably grabs just a little bit wider up high. But just like I mentioned, young lady, there's some structural things we need to fix. We need to flatten and make his shoulder just a little bit better, strengthen how his spine connects behind it, and then just fix how his rear legs go. But I think a good steer nonetheless. Young man's got a calf in third that I think we can still appreciate a lot of things about. Really bold-bodied, mellow-looking kind of a steer who's practical in his type and kind. He's big in the way he grabs and he touches up high. I guess as we start comparing to the cattle we've already discussed, a little bit shorter and thicker up front, and just a notch shorter and quicker as well in terms of his maturity. Really nice calf, though. Young man's got one here who I really appreciate just how lean and expressive this one is up high. I think a big-footed kind of a steer who, like we mentioned on some others, is good in the turn of his body. When we start talking about muscularity going away, though, I'd like to wind and stouten this guy up, just make him a little bit more attractive as well in his look up front. Young man has got a really nice structured calf that's going to end up fit here. Real sure-footed, clean-jointed kind of a steer who's long in terms of his stride and comfortable about his structure. I don't think that he studies with the same degree of mass and muscularity as some other cattle we've already discussed, but a really nice sound structured one. Young lady's got a Rocco face steer to round us out, and I think that kind of the same things can be said. He's good in terms of his feet and his lower joint works. He's a flexibly made kind of steer that's got some structural integrity. Just need to see him a little bit fresher and a little bit leaner as we move into handle there. Maybe just more punch as he walks away. But a great class and a great way to end our show. Go ahead, one more big round of applause for these kids as they exit the ring.
Okay, let's do run. We could maybe go to watch the.
Class 5 winner was Justin Hansen. Second place was Kelby Pierce. Kelby Pierce, keep your steer on standby. As soon as class class 5 has exited the ring, star class can begin making their way in the ring. Class 4 winner is Fallon Silcox. Class 3 winner, Bruce Brown. Class 2 winner, Luke Brown. Class 1 winner, Fallon Silcox. You guys can begin entering the show ring.
Get away from it.
Go ahead if you're ringside. One big round of applause for the market steer exhibitors today. A lot of good, a lot of useful cattle come through the ring today, and as we look out in the 5 that ended up on the top end, I think we landed on some quality individuals with some quality pieces and things that you could certainly be excited about. I'll go ahead and just reshare my thoughts with you as we've got them all 5 out here together, and then go ahead and start shaking hands and getting them placed. No particular order, though. The calf that won the last class. Real big scale, real high performing, liked his length of body, sure-footed, sound structure kind of a calf. But I think as we look down the line, probably just gets a notch flatter in terms of his forward. I don't think he's as bulky or as massive as the cattle circle and he goes away either. Like his structure and just overall performance though. Young lady out of that next class, really just a practically made kind of a steer. Love the boldness to his body. Just I love how mellow and easy feeding this guy looks. I think fine from a balance-wise compared to some other cattle. Maybe just comes with a notch more chest and could be just loosened up ever so slightly in terms of his hock. But just a nice, fundamental, practical kind of a market steer that you got to appreciate a lot about. Our lightweight class winner, the red and white steer, sharp-looking kind of a calf who's smooth about his shoulder. He's level down his spine. I think his lower joint work is pretty square and comfortable. Unlike we mentioned in that class, though, maybe just not the most market-ready today. I think that guy definitely some days on feed and definitely benefit him, but a good class winner in that particular class. Sorry. And black and white steer that won the class after him, really liked how this guy balanced, shows so sharp-fronted, and still, for a calf that looks this good, super wide, super stout, like his muscularity, if we had to tweak him, if we had to change him, probably just crank down his tail head and then just strengthen his loin and his spine a little bit, but I think nitpicky things on a very nice calf. Young man's all black steer, like we had mentioned in class, really good balancing steer that proportioned and matched throughout. I like his shape and I like how big and stout his lower limbs are. I think when we start studying him from the side, though, maybe just an ounce shorter in terms of his neck and how he ties it into his shoulder. Maybe just not the truest and most genuine in the way he progresses in his width from front to back, but I think a lot of good in that calf nonetheless. When we think about ranking them, I think there's 2 that stick out in my mind, and for very good reasons. I think between the 2, one of them's a shot more genuinely muscular. I think one of them's just a notch sharper and longer extended there ahead of his shoulder. A really good group of kids, though. I'll go out and select your champion in reserve. Before I do so, one more big round of applause, please, for these market steer exhibitors.
Buckle sponsor, grand champion, buckle sponsor, Ensign Ranches, Summit County Fair, and Summit County Council. Reserve champion buckle sponsor, JVY Enterprises, Summit County Fair, and Summit County Council. Grand champion steer is Luke Brown. Reserve champion steer is True Brown. We would like to have those second place steers from those weight classes come into the ring now, so that we can finish getting third, fourth, and fifth. From the grand champion class, JW Silcox. From the reserve champion class, Anjali Levitt. JW Silcox, tag 146. Anjali Levitt, tag 248. Please bring those steers into the ring.
As those second places come in, like we had mentioned in class, two really heavy muscle steers, both really practical and bold in terms of their midrib. Maybe some build things that have just limited them to that second place spot, but a duo of cattle that I think fits in nice with the rest of the group. For third, I think there's a calf who just next logically fits best in terms of just sharpness and balance. Maybe just not way out there in terms of muscularity, but is real good looking from the side. Fourth place calf, super practical, really mellow. Just needs to be a little bit leaner up high. Fifth place overall steer, super heavy muscle, super stout, but needs to be built better in terms of his shoulder and his knee. I'll go out and shake hands third through fifth. One more time though, big round of applause for these exhibitors.
Third place steer is Fallon Silcox. Fourth place steer is JW Silcox. And fifth place steer is Anjali Levitt. Give them a round of applause, guys.